now we'll get color copies. Tiffany went and made this black and white. And this is what you sent us over, right?
Yes.
I don't know if we have extra. I'll give
The
you
gifts
one.
you.
I don't know if we have extra. Cameron, you want Paul needs one?
Thank you, sir.
So David, we'll do a little speed dating with you and bring
Okay.
you up to date on our thoughts as we go through.
Okay.
So page 3. So the thought is that I'll start it out, introduce the committee, introduce the professional services. On page 3, can you address Fuss and O'Neill?
Is Cleveland spelled correctly? In the Cleveland?
Looks like
I don't know.
I'm gonna add a slide in here. So after the introducing the committee and professional staff, and before getting into the charge, we talked about adding a slide around the things that we have done to date as a committee.
Okay.
So I'll send you that slide.
Okay.
And in that slide, I'll probably also talk about the fact that we're working with USDA and just briefly what the benefits of working with USDA are around the rate only. And then, what we've accomplished to date. On slide 4, you can just get rid of the colon before on the very first line before the, next page. No, go down, fix that, that can come over, but the next line down, yeah, thank you, that was me.
Okay.
So I'll review this, and then I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Okay.
So to review the existing site plan, the proposed site plan, the main level, I would assume you're just gonna kind of talk briefly through.
Yeah, so in terms of the site plan, I mean, I'll orient everybody, talk about the number of parking spaces, just give an overall orientation, talk a bit about what we're doing with the septic system, talk about where utilities will be coming from, improvements in terms of the landscaping, areas that we are not working on, such as the skate park and the tennis courts, and just kind of go through an overall scope there, talk a bit about the potential of future overflow parking and such.
Well, we are working on the tennis courts as an alternate.
It's in the budget as an alternate.
Okay.
Tennis courts.
We were just
That's
discussing
simple. I think
Yeah.
it's simple.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
There's money available, we'll discuss it.
Well, I'm just saying, he was excluding it from the scope of work.
Okay. So you see, this is still kind of a work in progress. The next one that you see in color, which is the main floor level. This is similar to what was presented in the past during the public meeting, so I kept the color, the color coding pretty much the same. I just want to go through that. My only question related to ambulance, shall I include that as part of emergency management / ambulance?
So why don't you just do a color for public safety, right? And put the police, emergency management, ambulance, and fire marshal as all that color. Would be, anybody disagree with that?
Okay.
So, circulation.
Yes.
Comment is, so do we break out, if you're gonna do everything, if you're gonna do one color code, or, so is it really circulate, maybe do a color code for meeting rooms, right? It looks like the town, meeting rooms and the town office color are very similar, right? Circulation and town office, I think we need to kind of make those look, because if I look at this, I look at the meeting rooms across the way and the selectmen's office as being the same color. And really.
Right, I did not differentiate between the meeting
Yeah.
room. The meeting rooms
So-
I included as part of the.
Yeah, so I think we should break that out,
Okay.
so that we see what the meeting rooms are and see what the.
So break out meeting rooms.
Yep.
Separate
Yeah.
categories.
For all the conference rooms. And then, I would call assembly / gymnasium on there.
Okay.
And then I think, that would be fine.
And I'm probably gonna adjust these square footage numbers, because these are kind of net numbers, and that's tough to deal with, so I think I'm just gonna do, overall gross square footage to keep it simple, because, you know, people get confused with net square footage, I think it's simple just to deal with outside gross, so.
So I think the only place that I wouldn't talk gross is around the gym, just so people get.
I was just gonna do how much square footage was demolished, how much is being renovated, and how much is
Yeah,
that.
if you could,
I could go back to your estimate.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say that if the low level is 1880, the upper level is 28.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna,
Total is just total. So, you know, I'm gonna review,
your-
I'm gonna redo that so it fits with your,
Format.
think like this, it fits in here like
Okay.
this, and make some changes to that, and fit it, and now widen columns and everything else, just so it doesn't come out just
okay,
distorted, but now,
okay,
then it'll be even more.
understood. Okay. Is there any other comments on that?
Craig, you mentioned looking back, when you said the public safety piece, you include the resident straight to breakdown?
So police, yep, the police
Oh, okay,
office.
so that was, I had
Yeah.
that separate.
Yep, take police, emergency management, ambulance, and fire marshal, put them all as public safety. So that gives you another color code too, right? That you
Well, I'll
can do
just make it
for meeting
red.
space,
Yeah, that'll give me another one, yeah.
and you don't have to change the slide, or try and fit it.
Okay.
I can't read this writing here, but the vault. I don't know if it says that or not, but it's nice.
The vault?
Yeah.
Yeah, it says vault, it also says restricted and then unrestricted, it says vault and
Right.
then is divided between
So you're
restricted.
younger than 50 is what I'm hearing.
No, he's got his glass. Oh, you do too.
I just know because we did it. When, you know, the thought was that, you know, when this is projected up on the screen, it's
Right.
gonna, you know, the challenge is it is hard to
I totally get it.
get all the verbiage up there, so I will do my best to
No problem.
just walk people through it. I was gonna bring, I think in the past, I've just brought one of our projection screens and projectors, and that's 5 feet wide or something like that.
Or we do it. Well, we can reset the room up for the meeting, yeah. Put it up there, yeah.
The lower level is pretty, isn't as exciting because, you know, in the past we had bathrooms, no color coding, there really is none here, so,
So I think the call out here should be, we're abating it, gutting it, putting environmental, right? We're environmentally controlling it, to make sure that we don't have mold and water issues. And, parts of it will be used for storage. You know, it'll be file storage and storage for other departments downstairs that we can secure off living rooms.
Do you have a site logistic plan already to run? It's something you could get to me, and I could,
Yeah, I think we got one.
I could kind of start with that one, and then the next slide could bring up a construction.
That's a good point.
I think we do.
So you're still working on the renderings?
Yeah, which is just gonna be a two-dimensional colored elevation. Probably have all, you know, four sides essentially, but we're just gonna Photoshop and render, you know, the main front elevation.
So can you,
I'll send that to you, we'll probably, he's gonna work on that tomorrow, so.
okay,
Or next week, we'll do that first.
Yeah, I'll have him finish it up tomorrow, so I'll get it out by the end of the day tomorrow.
and even if you send that as a separate slide,
Sure.
that way I can just forward it probably because it's
Sure.
big and small enough so they can see it.
The outbuilding, you know, you've seen these elevations before, so I'll talk about the materials, the functionality, maybe I'll list the, or I could have a floor plan off to the side here. I think we had one that had some, at least a layout that showed some vehicles in there. So-
Yeah, take that floor plan you have and just stick it right in here. Yeah,
Trailers.
yeah, and the cars and, yeah.
And then hand the baton off to Paul.
Yep. So we talked about, we're gonna revise this just to make it fit better so it's not so blurry.
Yeah, I just copy and pasted what you kind of gave me, so.
So if you're talking building square footage, then he can pull a lot of this out down below. And just,
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
you
just
know,
looking at you, so I'll do that and change the size of the font. Like I say, I leave the border, but you have a here with yourself, this is.
Yep. Great.
And again, I think probably we should denote on here that this is an estimated budget.
Well, yeah, I'm going to put back to talk, that this is design development.
Yeah. Okay,
I'll
good.
talk about it. There's 3 steps of the process.
Okay.
Are you going through all the line items?
No,
or-
just-
High level.
I'll do the same thing as we're just trying to get it so it's something we can fit within this area right here.
Yep.
The trucks and schedules next. So we're gonna add a note to this too, saying that their estimates and, you know, just talk a little bit around the fact that, you know, USDA is the controlling factor around the timeline.
Is that coming back to me, or are you gonna continue to talk?
I'll talk about this, if you can just add a line in, anticipated scheduling, just like that. So there's a little out if we need it. We talked to USDA this morning, it's still 2 weeks out.
Okay.
Also, we asked Norm about FM approval, and his
Yes.
question was, what's FM?
Well, that answers the question.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Yep, I will do that.
This,
it's updated.
It's
until right
updated,
now.
right.
So there's also, I forwarded you, a slide Jared did for Fuss and O'Neill,
Yes.
so we gotta add that in here.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could probably further it up, or, you know, just from layout of the format on the slide.
Yeah, and everything looked fine. I mean, he had some bullet items. I spoke to him before I left, and I suggested we add something that just talks about mold remediation on there too, because he was talking about some of the other items, so I thought
Yep.
that was probably the
Yep.
important thing to add.
Good.
When do you want that to come? Shouldn't that come before we get the cost and,
Yeah, I'm thinking, probably right before we turn it over to Downey,
okay.
I think we do that probably.
Do you want me to just continue to talk about that and we can answer questions, or do you want to?
Yeah, that's fine. Yep.
you got some little template
Yeah,
somewhere?
yeah.
That would be ideal. Okay.
And then we're also gonna, I'll send you this, and Cindy's gonna pretty up, just the budget slide we'll put in there, that, I'll talk to in the beginning.
Oh, okay. Stand out, how many copies do you need? Or you get- If I send this to you before you get me the copies, or you need more copies?
If I get it, I'll make copies for that night.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
We're not gonna hand it out to everybody that comes.
Okay.
I don't know
You
much
need
about it.
you need it in the
You could have the floor plan maybe,
It's,
propose the site plan.
I guess we can do it.
We're gonna be about 15, we'll probably be with the 2 or 3 hours, either 15 or 16 pages.
I mean, even if we did it where it's for a slide, you can't read it, that's what I,
This, I know, that's what I'm playing with, this is two.
yeah.
Are you, gonna put it on the website?
Yeah, I could do it as a
Yeah.
PDF, I could just convert this to PDF for you.
Two is about as small as you can go.
Right.
And even then, you're still not gonna read
Right, you're not gonna.
the budget
Right.
or any of the wording on it,
Right.
so. I mean, I'll do either way, I mean, it's, to me, I think it's expensive.
Okay, I'll try to see if I can find
To
it.
try and,
I think they were actually working and let it. Single sheets of that.
the site plan too.
Yeah, probably not.
If you do the site plan, the full thing, the budget, you look at 4 sheets on the side, maybe
Two
take it.
pages.
But this, the basement site plan is really kind of useless.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
To me, well, it's fine, if we're gonna do two double-sided things, let's come up with something better. You know, if you do the site plan, you do, and yeah, maybe you're rendering
Right,
stuff.
right.
You know what, the problem with the renderings, the building is so long, you
Yeah.
know, it doesn't, it's only gonna be about that size on the page, so.
We could do the schedule. Thoughts? We could do the charge of the committee.
That's a good idea, that's a good, yeah, that's
Charge
a
the
good.
budget, site plan, and the whole thing.
Charge, budget, first floor, site plan, and, yes, charge, budget, first floor, and then the,
Just add the web address where they can see the whole thing.
yeah, so I think on the thank you slide, we'll add some information to that around it. All of this information is available on the town website at www.eastside.org.
You're using that language? or you want-
Yeah, I'll send you something.
Okay.
Anybody have anything else?
My name is Eli.
Eli?
Connor,
I probably.
You want that,
I'm here. I'll see my email.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one you got.
And maybe three for that.
Okay.
Any Comments from the back row?
Shoal, S-C-H-O. Yeah.
Oh, Scott. Anybody at the table?
I gave you mine.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's usually the one that gets into the script.
Yeah. So we'll meet next week before 6, our meeting will be at 6 o'clock. Next week, we'll review this, and then the public hearing at 7:30.
6 o'clock,
We hung in for you, Dave.
Thank you, I apologize.
Motion adjourned. Second. Thank you.
And he texted me. Yeah.